Hello, gorgeous beings of light. This is Elmara coming to you from the spectacular Gold Coast hinterland in Queensland, Australia. Let's just take a big, long, slow, deep breath in. Connect into our soul. Call forth our highest self to come be with us throughout this powerful activation called It's Time. It's time. So let's just make that connection first. Just breathe in. Imagine you're connecting your energy to the sun, the central sun and the great central sun above you. And breathe that gorgeous, gorgeous sunlight down through your crown chakra. Breathe all that source light from the sun into your body. Breathe out. And just take the last 5% of that energy down into the core of Mother Earth. Tie that energy around the core of Mother Earth, and then I want you to breathe in and bring back all of the minerals and nutrients and everything you need to sustain your physical life here on Earth. Breathing it up. And breathe that source light, well, not source light, that earth energy, that quantum earth energy into your being. And then breathe out and take the last 5% back up to the sun. We're just going to do that 3 times. Breathe in, draw source light down from the sun, breathe that source light out into your 100 trillion cells. Take the last percentage, 5% of that energy down into the core of Mother Earth. You may also be aware, if you're sitting, it'll be coming from your tailbone, and if you're standing, it'll be coming from your feet, some roots taking you deep into the core of Mother Earth. And breathe that energy back up. From the core of Mother Earth, that quantum energy, earth energy, with everything you need to sustain your physical life here on Earth. Breathe it out. Take it back up to the sun. And then just one more time, breathing that energy in. And out into your body, into your 100 trillion cells, lighting them up, activating your 100 trillion cells and your 100 trillion telomeres. Taking the last 5% down into the earth. And breathe that quantum earth energy with everything you need to sustain your physical life here on Earth back up. And breathe that into your body, activating your heart. And taking that last 5% up to the sun. And now you can just breathe normally, in through your nose and out through your nose. I'm going to trust I'm going to do a better job with the video this time than I did last time. Well, that looks like it's going a little wonky, so I'll have to keep an eye on it. So I want to remind you all that it's time. You would not be here on planet Earth right now if you weren't here to activate your divine superpowers and connect into the most powerful part of who you are. And this is a part of you that will be able to do all sorts of magical stuff that you didn't even know you were capable of doing. And it's like we are the ones we have been waiting for. You must have heard that wonderful American Indian saying, we. I'm sorry, I had something yummy to eat before I did this. Not a wise idea. I'm going to hiccup now. We are the ones that we are waiting, that we are the ones that you have been waiting for. Just breathe that in for a moment. And if you and some of us, most of us are scared of that power because we've either been murdered for it, killed, burnt at the stake, or, that we may have done some not so good things with that power. And so where that power is buried deep inside of us, and we get frightened, and we get frightened by people who do use that power. But I'm going to, I want to share with you now a story that happened in the Black Summer Fires of 2019, 2020. I've only shared it with a few close personal friends. But it just happened that I shared it in a group last night. And when I woke up this morning, my higher self said, it's time to tell everyone that story, so everyone can begin to awaken the infinite power that exists within them, within all of us. And once you see it in yourself, you'll see it in others. And I guess I'm doing this video to tell you that I can see it in you. If you listen to this video, it's there in you. And if you take your focus off what's going on in the news, which is all designed, this is the time of our great awakening. And all that crap on the news, all of it, the COVID, the wars, everything, it is designed to distract you from this great, great power that is awakening within you. So my huge recommendations to you is turn the bloody TV off. Unless you are strong enough like I am to be able to transmute shit that you see on the news as it comes up, then don't listen to it. If it sends you into a state of fear and panic and shuts down all your amazing gifts, don't listen to it. Don't listen to it. Just turn it off. Go for a walk in nature. If it's pouring rain, you can't walk in nature, imagine you're walking in nature. Imagine you're standing barefoot on Mother Earth and connecting to the earth and the sun and your own divine heart, as I just showed you to do a moment ago. Sorry, I'm just watching the light as I say that to you come into the video. So exquisite the way that happens. I get passionate and all of a sudden you can't see the video for the light that's coming into it. So, but anyway, gorgeous beings of light, the story I want to tell you is this. I've kept it to myself because, and I have to tell you that I have averted quite a number of other major disasters since then. So the power is within you as well. In 2000, about the 10th of December 2019, I was due to be in Milton, which is on the outskirts, it was right on the outskirts of the Ulladulla, Mullymook, Narrawally kind of community. About 6,000 plus people's there, and 6,000 plus people live in that community. And I was due to be there on the 16th, and around the 10th they blocked the highway to get there. The freeway, they blocked it because it was blocked by fire, so they closed it and you couldn't get there. And the only way for me to get to that location was to do like a 550 kilometre, 8-9 hour drive up round through Canberra and back down. And then I kind of thought about it, well, why does that happen? And I remember just sitting and thinking and saying to Source, you sure you want me to go into a fire zone? And they came back and said, yes, we do. Sorry, there's just a car going by. I'm glad I set my video up that it misses all that. That's just perfect. So, yeah, they said, yes, we do. And I said, well, then open the bloody freeway because I'm not driving 8 hours to get there. Because only up the freeway, it's only like an hour and a half, 2 hours max. No, it's about an hour and a half, I think, an hour and 25 minutes from where I was in Tilba on the south coast of New South Wales. And so, bugger me dead, 2 days before I was due there, they opened the freeway. I drive up the freeway to my appointment, and 2 days after I arrived, they closed the freeway again, so you couldn't get up it. But what happened within a week is they closed the freeway going the other way as well. So it wasn't closed going towards Sydney, and the lady who I was house sitting for was able to get on a bus and get herself to Sydney and go on a holiday. But the day after she left to do that, or a few days after she left to do that, they closed the freeway there, the highway there as well. So there was nowhere for anyone to go. We were, east was the ocean, North and south was blocked by fire, and the highways were closed. West, 1 kilometre west, I was on the outskirts of town, but 1 kilometre west of where we were, the fires were there, and they were there for 6 weeks. And and then the first day that it flared up, all the old people in the street I was in were all out on the Bloomin' Road saying, you know, they're going to go down with the ship, and they're going to, and and of course the media was hamming it all up. You couldn't do it. They even just stopped other normal shows to run bloody endless videoing of the fires and showing the same thing over and over and over again, and people were completely terrified. So within a couple of days of me being settled there, I would get up in the morning at 8 a.m. in the morning, and I would send love to the fire. I would talk to the fire. I would spend hours and hours transmuting the negative energy, from all the people in the town, transmuting it back to light. And this went on for 6 weeks, and there was days when it flared up, days when the fire was, came roaring at us. I remember one time it was roaring at us, and I just said to Spirit, like I just sat and go, can you send the fire? I spoke to the fire and sent it down the hill. Now I sent it down the hill, and it wiped out 13 houses. The fire caught 13 houses, but nobody was killed. And that was a great thing. These fires took out millions and millions of acres and billions of our wildlife here. If you don't know the story, it's worth probably looking up. And yet, in total, I think only about 30 people died, which is still devastating for those people, but it could have been much, much worse. And I was there to save those 6,000 people. It took me a while to recognise that, and it took me a while to own that. But that is exactly why I was there. And a couple of times, as I said, it was coming in. So the next time, instead of, telling the fire what to do, thankfully it didn't wipe out our house, I just stayed and light. And then there was another time when, because the wind changed direction, it was heading straight to us. And the problem with that was that a lot of people had already taken their second car down to the beach, so that if the fires came, they'd at least have one car. So if it had hit that community, people wouldn't have even been able to get to the beach and get into the ocean, which is what there was several communities along that east coast of Australia that the only thing they could do was jump into the ocean, because the highways were blocked, and their community was on fire, and the only place they had to go was into the ocean. And there was lots of miracles in that. So there was a little town that was wiped out, forget what it was called now, up from where we were towards Sydney, about 50 minutes or 50, might have been 50 k's, so either half an hour or 50 minutes away from where we were. And most of that little community, it was only a small community, had about 100 houses. Most of it was taken out by fire, and the people had to go into the ocean. But one of the miraculous things about that was there was an old wooden shack that had been there for over 100 years, and all these modern houses went up, and this old wooden shack never got hit by the fire. It was just extraordinary miracles that continued to happen. But the next time, there was one time about a week or so before they finally died, and the media wasn't helping, because they kept saying, oh, the rain's not coming to February. And of course, everybody's then going, the rain's not coming to February. And guess what? You're a powerful being. And of course, they were making the rain not come to February. And I just kept saying, bullshit. I'm going to make this rain come by the 20th of January. It's coming today. It took me all that time, from the 16th of December to about the 20th of January, to negate all the negative energy that was in that community. But and transmute it to light and hold the fire off. But there was one time, I can't remember, maybe it was a New Year's Day, or maybe it was the one that came on the 10th. There was 2 lots where it was extremely serious for that community, and the fire is raging at us. And as I said, we were 1 kilometre away. The main part of the community probably was about 3 or 4 kilometres away. And someone knocked on my door and told me to evacuate. And I took the little dog that I was caring for and took it down to the beach and waited there and waited. And then in the end, I just went back home about 9 o'clock, but I tried to go back home about 5. It's like, oh, I've had enough of this, I'm going home. And the smoke, and that was so bad, there was a tow truck on the road with his yellow siren going, and I could barely see his yellow siren, and I was about 100 metres from home. And so I couldn't even see if any cars were coming. I had to wait for my higher self to say, go now, to do a U-turn and get out of that situation and go back to the beach. But that particular day, or one of the days when the fire was raging at us, I'd done all this praying and it was still happening. And at around 5 p.m, I sent out 40 text messages, 2 lots of 20, because my phone at the time would only let me send 20 text messages at a time. And I sent 2 lots of 20 text messages to people I knew and to people I didn't know. Anyone I knew who was slightly spiritual, I just said, please, can you help? The fire is raging at us now. Anyone who can pray, or, just pray and ask for the wind to stop, just because the wind had caught up and was bringing this fire really close to the township. It came really close. It came within 250 metres or something. But it was just like, everybody, please pray. And within about 5 seconds of the last text going out. So I sent them as 2 group tests. So I sent one group test, the second group test to 20 people. And within about 5 to 10 seconds, the wind just stopped. It was just like this huge miracle. The wind was fanning this fire towards the township. And when I asked everybody to pray, it stopped. And when I spoke to a couple of people who had done some of my classes while I was in Ulladulla, they were like, oh, yeah, you're right, Elle, it did. It was just roaring. You could hear it roaring and it just stopped. Now, that's the power that exists within you. That's the power that exists within you. And it really is time. It's time for us to stop playing small. It's time for us to stop allowing the media to control the world. It's time for us to stop listening to, I'm sorry, but it's there to say it, fuckwits like bloody Bill Gates, who's just such a low-level being who believes that, chucking a whole pile of poison into people is the answer, when I don't know, but it's definitely here. It's clearly we are much worse off now than we were, at the start of this pandemic, where 18,000 people, which is not a lot compared to other countries, but 18,000 people are struck down with this in one day. The other day I saw on the news, and they're all people that have been jabbed, So and their answer to that, take more crap. We've had 1,000 deaths or something in just this last few weeks. So, in the last couple of months it might be, but whatever. I don't really follow all those details. But what I'm trying to say to you is that you have the power to just sit in your power, to know your truth. Stop following the bullshit. Stop giving in to this. The whole purpose of all of that was really, for you to be, to take away some of your huge, it changes the structure of your DNA, and everybody's going, that's a load of, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. You'd have to be blind to not see that it hasn't worked. It has not worked. There's people still sick and dying, and their solution is, let's just take some more crap. So if they'd let it do its own natural immunity thing, it would have, people's immunity would have raised up, like the 100th monkey thing, like it's kind of like, and if enough people get it, enough people overcome it, then our systems change to be able to do it naturally. It's natural immunity rather than this other crap that's going on. So I hope that's just an excellent example of the power that exists within you. It is time for all of us to remember that power, to stop playing small. If you are fearful about it, or if you think listening to this video that I'm a dick, then that's a block that is within you. That is a block that is within you from being murdered in another lifetime or whatever it is. But it's something that's stopping you from owning your power. It has nothing to do with me. There's a really well-known saying, and it's scientifically proven actually, that the observer changes the molecules of that which they are observing. It is this, you can look it up. Let's look up that sentence and you'll find there's lots of information about that. And that's really what's happening in the world. Those of us who are awake, and not the ones that are awake going, oh, I'm awake, but I'm scared of this and I'm scared of that. That's just bullshit. There's so many people going, oh, I'm awake, and they're just attacking us because we're awake. And well, if you're awake, you wouldn't even be saying that shit. If you're awake, you would be using your power to stop what it is that you think that they're trying to do to you, or that you think they can do to you. And so, you know, being awake and fully connected to the quantum field is knowing that you can change absolutely anything that comes towards you. Absolutely anything, or that you will always be taken care of by Source. Now I hope my friend's not going to mind me telling us, but I won't mention her name. But just recently there was a friend of mine who was driving and someone came through a red light and she placed her hands over her face because she was so sure she was going to get hit. And then next thing she just drove through the intersection and it didn't happen. The accident just didn't happen. She closed her eyes when he was like less than, 10 feet away from her. And she goes, I don't understand. The cops were just on the phone. And the reason the cops didn't see it or anything was because she did a timeline jump. She jumped into a timeline where she was safe. Now, that's the power that exists within all of us. You have the power to live the most extraordinary life and do extraordinary things. But you can't be in fear and do that. You can't be in fear that you're going to catch some bug. You can't be in fear that the flood's going to wipe you out. You have to be able to stand in that absolute knowing that you are a god, goddess, an infinite being of light that is here to make a difference and to change the world. So it's time. It's time for you to own that power. And if you don't know how to do that, get some bloody help. I might just start doing some online programs to help people with this, to help clear those past life blockages. Because a lot of us know that we're powerful. If you're a powerful light worker and your own life isn't working because of money, because of illness, because of any kind of life circumstances, then that's usually that there's some kind of past block from a past life that's stopping you. But we just need to clear that because we are meant to be living rich, abundant, joyful, healthy, wealthy lives. And it's time for all of that to do that. It's time for the people of the citizens of this world to take our power back, step into the quantum fields and begin the magic. Begin the magic. Remember the magic that existed in your other lifetimes and bring it all to the forefront. And everything that looks like it's poop that's showing up is actually a doorway. If this is showing up as saying, clear this lens here, well, we don't call it lens, I'm doing a program at the moment which is absolutely brilliant, and they call it clear the lens. But if you just step into wherever that is in your body, so if you've got a sore knee, just take your awareness into your knee and understand that pain is in your knee because it's trying to say to you, here you either have a past life of an injury or you have a karmic injury, or here is where your knee is not fully 100% connected to the light. And then breathe quantum consciousness, source consciousness, Christ consciousness, angel consciousness, source light, whatever damn your higher self light into your knee, and just keep breathing that in until the knee transforms back into light and the pain will be gone. It's as simple as that. We've made it so damn complicated, but it's actually as simple as that. And so start owning who you are. I have an extraordinary activation to help call in your higher self. I will do that on the next video because it'll make this one too long and too much to load. But I hope that gets you thinking. I hope that just ask your higher self every morning and every night to your highest, not your higher, because that's got too much crap around it. Highest, Highest. But if you call that your divine source self, your pure God source, I used to call it, divine soul source. I just use my higher self now because there's like about 20 or 30 different things I used to call in. So just call in your higher self and ask them to guide you, direct you, protect you, and bless them with your presence now. And you can do that. If you do that as you're going to sleep, you will wake up and you'll be able to feel, because you're still in theta beta, theta alpha, alpha theta, you will still be able to feel your higher self and begin to breathe in and then just call it in again. So, but I'll do one that has an exact activation of the highest self. I'll do that in the next video and explain a little bit more about it, okay? Alrighty, gorgeous beings of light. I hope that's been helpful. Sending you so much love and infinite, beautiful, abundant, rich blessings. There is 2 trees to my right. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to pick them up, but before I leave this video, I'm going to try and pick up my camera and just show you them. They're just all the time I've been sitting here recording this video. This beautiful tree has been almost like sharing its love with me. And that's the other thing, you can get a ton of love and energy and peace from nature. Get yourself out in nature. Take yourself out in nature and sorry, I just heard something. Take yourself out in nature and begin to connect again through nature to your pure God source or to your higher self, and watch the miracles start to show up in your life. It's all there waiting for us, but you can't be connected to the light and experiencing bliss and blessings and miracles and be frightened of COVID and God knows what else they want to tell you about, the wars coming and all of that, because all that stuff's in the old timeline. It's in the 3rd dimension timeline. If you open yourself up to the 5th dimension and beyond, or you open yourself up to quantum consciousness, none of that crap happens there. There's just bliss. Anyway, my gorgeous beings of light, I'm going to try and pick this up. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it anyway, but because of the sun, I'm going to try and take that over. I don't even know. There it is. There's a big, tall tree. And then right behind that or below that is that beautiful bushy tree. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, because there's so much sun coming through there now. Anyway, I hope you can. I trust you can. And I'm just going to do another. I'll come round and I've been here by this creek here. There's been all sorts of gorgeous birds singing and doing their thing. So still, so perfect, so beautiful. All right, gorgeous beings of light, I love you, I love you, I love you. Sending you the most extraordinary amount of love and light, peace, joy, happiness, wealth and abundance. And I look forward to being with you again really soon. Namaste, Espavo. Take care and bye for now.